Right now, we want to turn to the Target 12 investigators. They're taking a deeper look at vaccinating Rhode Island's hardest hit communities. Joining us now live via Zoom, Target 12 investigator Steph Machado. And Steph, we have repeatedly heard that the state wants to take geography into account in the vaccination process, in addition to age and underlying health conditions. So how is that going so far?
Well, I would say it's a mixed bag, Kim and Brian. The shining example is Central Falls, of course, as we've been reporting the highest rate of infections and hospitalizations in the state. And thusly, Central Falls has expanded eligibility for vaccines to any adult over 18. So adults of all ages have been able to get vaccinated in that city for weeks now, but it is not the same story in other hard-hit communities in Rhode Island. As Eli Sherman reported earlier this week, the current system and eligibility has resulted in the east side of Providence having a higher rate of vaccination than other parts of the city of Providence that have been harder hit by the pandemic than the east side. So Providence is trying to adjust for that. They had 400 unfilled appointments for clinics on Friday and Saturday that were for residents over 75. And what they announced last night is that they were going to expand the eligibility to people over 65, but only in the 02907, 02908, and 02909 zip codes, so that they could direct those 400 doses to those harder hit neighborhoods like Olneyville, Silver Lake, Manton, the West End, rather than opening it up to everyone in the city.
So, Steph, has the Department of Health indicated at all which cities or zip codes specifically are going to get increased doses as we move forward?
Well, they constantly say that Providence, Central Falls, and Pawtucket are among the high-density communities they want to target. And they've also mentioned Cranston and North Providence as part of this strategy. But they have not gone into detail yet about which zip codes in each of those cities like Cranston, North Providence, and Pawtucket are going to get targeted. How many additional doses might they get for this high-density zip code strategy, when this is going to happen? So a lot of unanswered questions, and here's what Dr. Alexander Scott said about it earlier today.
We want the vaccination rates in every city and town to be high. But we also know that we need to catch up in some of our other more densely populated communities where there are higher rates of hospitalizations, particularly among certain zip codes.
So she says that we need to catch up in those zip codes. She didn't explain how quite yet. One possibility is that eligibility would expand a little faster in those zip codes, which is what we've seen in Central Falls. It's also what we're starting to see in Providence with those folks 65 and older in those 3 zip codes being able to get vaccinated just a few days earlier than the rest of the state opening up to 65 plus.
All right, Steph Machado, thanks so much always for joining us live at 4 today.
Of course.